Hi Dingle, a very warm welcome, and it's great to have you here today. Before we hear you sing, and you brought a very interesting selection of pieces with you today, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into singing? Was it something you started as a small child or something you came to later in life?
I started singing at St Mary's Church in Nottingham, where I lived.
Okay.
And that was probably must have been 8-year-old,
Okay.
9-year-old, something like that. And that was my first foray into choral singing. And the director of music there, who has only just retired after 40, maybe longer than that, 40 years, said I could sing quite well. And my parents had always been interested in the choir schools, in particular King's College, Cambridge.
Okay.
Always had a big love of that. My dad has been going to 9 lessons and carols for most of his life. And so I auditioned there and I didn't get a place. However, at the time, Westminster Abbey were looking for a chorister, and I applied there, and they turned me away and said, get your theory up to a better standard,
Okay.
come back, repeat your audition, and we'll see how you're doing. And I got a place, which was quite a big deal back then. We're talking early 90s, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I was in the newspaper.
Yeah.
With like a frayed ruff on, holding a candle, really staged.
Excellent. Yeah.
Photo the Nottinghamshire Evening Post or something. And then I started at Westminster Abbey, and I guess that was when it sort of really rocketed.
Yeah.
And ended up singing for all those royal services and singing 3 times on a Sunday and then all week, staying over Christmas. Back then they stayed over Christmas. I think we finished on about the 28th of December. So that was a very intense period of singing and really got me up to speed. Sadly, my director of music, Martin Neary, died recently. And a lot of his old choristers have been lamenting about their time there, reminiscing. And then after that, I just went to secondary school, kind of dipped a little bit.
Okay.
I didn't do much. And then I think I sang Christus in the St. John Passion about 16 years old. And then it was reinvigorated. The director of music was impressed.
Okay.
I think the headmaster had said that was one of the highlights of his time at Oakham School, which is where I was at, before he ended up going to Eton, actually. And then I thought, well, I need to go and do something. But it was the very last night of school, when at my type of school you had a ball.
Yeah.
And the director of music came up to me and we were sharing a beer. And he said, so what are you going to do next? And I said, I don't really know. And he said, have you thought about going to music college? And I didn't know what that was. Anyway, I applied for music college and got a place at Guildhall School of Music and Drama.
Yeah.
Did an undergraduate degree there.
Yeah.
And then after that, joined Voces 8
Yeah.
for 10 years. So
you went from a lot of singing as a small child to then a lot of singing as a young adult. Because, I mean, with Voces 8, you must have been on the road pretty much across the year, lots of concerts, lots of travel.
I think we used to say that we were on the road about 270 days of the year, 110, 120 concerts a year, which is I think about 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
It was intense, yeah, and it was amazing. And it was good for me because I felt like my performance experience wasn't very good after leaving Guildhall.
Okay.
I was a very nervous singer at Guildhall.
Yeah.
I didn't sing in what they were called platforms at that time, and you would sing in front of your colleagues and they would give you a feedback.
Right.
I found that very pressuring. So in a way, joining Voces 8 was a great way of me building up that performance experience.
Yeah.
People were buying a ticket to come see me sing. I better do a good job.
And I suppose with Voces 8 and when you were a boy singing at the Abbey, you must have covered a huge range of repertoire from medieval to the present day, presumably.
Huge. What was really annoying is that, of course, I was a bass in Voces 8, so I was covering all this repertoire I knew as a treble. And, of course, relearning it, but thinking, this is so familiar, but not familiar enough.
So we're going to hear 3 pieces. Let's hear the first now. What is it we're going to hear first?
It is The Bells of Saint Marie by Ireland.
Why have you chosen this?
I have to say, I can't be too nerdy about this. I just really like the music.
Yeah.
The pretty music underneath.
Yeah.
I even prefer the piano arrangement to my melody line.
Really?
Yeah, it's just pretty and English and warm and I like the feeling it gives me.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who really overanalyzes why I like a piece of music. It's usually the warmth it gives me from listening to music. Although, I say that, you know, I used to be a real, at Guildhall, we used to do analysis of music, and I used to hate it. I was like, oh, this is ruining music for me. I like it because it's just giving me an impulse,
Just speaks
a
to you.
feeling. Speaks,
Yeah.
and analysing it is sort of breaking it apart and taking away the interest. However, I don't believe like that anymore, and which is a good thing. And analysing it and stripping it apart is a really crucial part, especially for music that's more difficult.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't quite gel with you to begin with.
Yeah. And I think one of the clever things about this song particularly is that although there are repeated verses, so the listener has the comfort and the familiarity of the same melodic verse coming back, albeit with different words throughout, he just slightly tweaks the accompaniment, slightly tweaks the harmony, slightly tweaks the melodic line occasionally, just to keep a little frisson of interest as you go all the way through.
Absolutely. Otherwise, it would just dirge.
Very
be
repetitive and a bit unremarkable.
It forces you as a singer to also think about what's going on underneath and change your colours. You could go quite far with it, actually.
Agreed. Let's take a listen.
It's pleasant in Holy Mary by San Marie Lagoon. The bells they chime and jingle from dawn to afternoon. They rhyme and chime and mingle, they pulse and boom and beat, and the laughing bells are gentle, and the mournful bells are sweet. The laughing bells are gentle, and the mournful bells are sweet. Oh, who are the men that ring them, the bells of San Marie? Oh, who but sons ye seamen come in from oversea, and merrily in the belfries they rock and sway and hail, and send the bells a-jangle, and down the lusty air, and send the bells a-jangle, and down the lusty air. It's pleasant in Holy Mary to hear the beating bells come booming into music that throbs and clangs and swells from sunset till the daybreak, from dawn to afternoon, in port of Holy Mary, on San Marie Lagoon, in port of Holy Mary, on San Marie Lagoon.
Next up, we're going back a few hundred years or so and to the music of Handel. The Messiah probably doesn't need much introduction, but tell us a little bit about why you've chosen an excerpt from Messiah and this number in particular.
I feel like I've chosen the Messiah because it's not chosen much. I once tried to win a prize at the English Song Competition or something like that. And you're not allowed to choose the Messiah to sing in it, I think. I think that's the case.
Okay.
Which means I think it's not, apart from being done on the stage much, it's not recorded in this sort of environment much. I don't know. Or I don't get a chance to just separate the music. Maybe that's the best way of looking at it. And then I chose this piece because I like singing this piece. It's the explosive fireworks that I think suits my voice.
Yeah.
However, we were saying that over the years, my voice has got heavier, so I've had to take some of the tempo down a little bit. Whereas when I was younger, I used to do it sort of ridiculously fast tempo, which was probably just too fast. But it's just so enjoyable to sing, and I feel like it's one of those. This piece always makes me laugh, because if you do it with maybe a choral society or something, you finish the piece and they're looking at you, going, "Gosh, that was just amazing," but they forget that they've got to come in. Let us break the bonds. And I feel like every rehearsal there's a sort of a stumbling. Let us break the bonds. It's like, oh yes, we're supposed to be singing, not listening to this fabulous piece of music. So I always find that's the thing that happens.
I also think with a piece of music like that, it's like the very best bits of Handel, the very best bits of Bach. It sounds great on whatever instrument, whether it's a big, heavy bass baritone voice or a lighter voice that can do all the runs much faster. Same with the instruments. If you've got a really nimble Baroque group, the accompaniment sounds amazing. But also on a big sort of stodgy orchestral recording, the likes of which we had, I guess, in the middle of the last century, it still sounds like fantastic music.
That introduction. And I think it comes at a perfect point in the Messiah where people need a bit of a palate cleanser.
Yes.
Or something to rouse them.
Right. On which
Especially
note?
if it's a late concert.
Indeed. Here we go.
So furiously race together, why do the people imagine everything? Why do the nations rage so furiously together? Why do the people imagine everything? Imagine a vain thing. Why do the people so furiously race together? And why do the people imagine a vain thing? Why do the nations rage so furiously together? And why do the people imagine a vain thing? Imagine a vain thing. And why do the people imagine a vain thing? Of the earth rise up, and the rulers take counsel together. Take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. Against the Lord and his anointed.
Dingle, your final choice moves us forward again a few hundred years and to the music of Puccini. Now, you sing a lot of opera nowadays. Why Bohème and why this number?
I love La Bohème. It's just the prettiest, wonderful, most perfectly formed opera, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love the role of Colline. I love that I could be a part of the boys and the jovialness, and then the second act where you're in the Café Momus and it's just chaos and wonderful. There's plate smashing and you're part of the energy of it, and you're bouncing off Schaunard, and it's great. It's like a boys' club of messing. You
It is
get
a
to
bit,
mess
isn't it?
around
Yeah.
a bit.
Okay.
You know, and the last time I did this was at ENO back last year, and we had to fight with baguettes. You know, sword fight with baguette, and there's bread flying off into the audience, and you know, almost down a tuba.
Yeah.
You know. And then of course, and then suddenly the drama changes, and it gets very sad, and I come from nowhere and have to sell my coat, and this aria just sort of pops out of the texture. And you don't get long to really get into character for it. It's actually quite a tricky piece to take out of the opera and just sing it alone, because you really need the build-up with the rest of the music that's coming towards that moment. But it's exquisite and touching and heartfelt and isolating and lonely and moving. It's really moving. And you're left at the end going, is that it? I wonder, do we have any more? It's like, no, we're on to the next amazing part of this music.
And I think with a lot of Puccini, and when people take extracts and arias from the operas, we're used to these big sort of expansive sweeps and music that's very expressive and immediately emotive, let's say. But what's interesting about this, I find, is how pared back it is.
Yes.
When you use that term, it's almost like a little funeral march that's just going, and it's incredibly sparse. The harmonies aren't that wild or sophisticated. It's a real kind of masterclass in paring everything back. Simple vocal line, very simple accompaniment and harmonies, but it's incredibly powerful in isolation, and even more so when you've had the sweep of everything that comes before.
It really is. It's brave writing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Towards the
Less is
end of
more.
the opera, very clever.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Great, let's have a listen.
Vecchia cimarra senti, io resto al pianto a scendere il sacro monti ordevi. Le mie grazie ricevi, ma non curvasti il logoro dorso ai ricchi ed ai potenti. Passa nelle tue tasche come un antri tranquilli, filosofie poeti. Ora che giorni lieti fuggir ti dico addio, fedele amico mio. Addio, addio.
Dingle, thanks very much for joining us today. It's been terrific to hear you sing, and what an interesting selection of pieces. We wish you well with all your future singing work.
Thank you very much for having me.